Hi, I'm Robert Vogel, and I'm going to talk to you here a little bit more about my grip. I get asked a lot of questions about that, how I grab the gun. The first thing, again, it depends on what you're actually doing. If you are not concerned about time, and if all you are trying to do is just like your average Joe that goes to the range, just shoot a good group or hit a bullseye or pop can, and you're not concerned about time, then honestly, I don't think the grip really matters that much. You know, in that case, it's just if the sights are held in one place and you can break the shot without moving the sights, that's going to be the main thing that matters. But again, as a practical shooter, not just only competitive shooters, all practical shooters, we care about what happens after the shot. Meaning we want to get shot number 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, whatever, on target as fast as possible. Down to the 100th of a second as fast as possible. That's always going to be our goal. Especially, obviously, in real life, I've never thought of a reason yet where you're going to shoot somebody slowly. You know, from a defensive standpoint, if you're in that situation and you're good to go on the shooter or whatnot, it's because at that exact moment they're trying to kill you or somebody else. So it's always you're always gonna want it to be fast. Bottom line, pretty simple. Standpoint of physics, this is really the magic spot of the gun right here. This is where the bullet comes out of the barrel. The closer I can get to this spot, okay, with any part of my hand, with any part of force on the gun, the less this gun is going to move. It is really just that simple. Okay, so if I were to grab the gun all the way down here, which is the farthest point away from here, it's going to move a tremendous amount. But if I could transform the same exact grip and put it right below here, I would have much more control of the gun. So pretty simple overall. It's really this simple, guys. When you shoot this gun or any gun, the less that it moves, the better you will shoot, all else being equal, right? So strong hand has to come up high on the gun. Very important to be nice, high, and tight in here, okay? You got to get that. It's going to depend on how you move your hands, okay? Most people, if they're not trained, they're going to grab the gun, I say like a monkey grabs a hammer. I've said that for years. They're going to grab it like you pick up a water bottle or a broomstick or anything, okay? That's not the motion you should be using. It's more of a pinching motion. Again, it's a little bit easier to show somebody maybe in person, but I'm driving the web of my hand up higher on the gun. And I get nice and tight into there. If I grab the gun more like a monkey, I got a good 1/4 inch gap. If I pinch into it, now I'm very close to touching it. Now, a lot of people ask about getting cut here. It's going to actually depend a lot on your hands. I'm a fairly thin guy, and just the way my hands are, when I ride that up, I actually just barely touch the slide sometimes. Never really hurts me, but that's what works. Some guys, you got meatier hands, you're actually probably going to get cut if you do the same thing. So a lot of the reason I think they come out with the Gen 4 Glocks or even with the 3s, you can have some sort of a beaver tail that brings your hand a little bit lower. I wouldn't recommend that unless you're getting cut. I see a lot of guys use the beaver tails, and again, all they do is they bring your hand lower on the gun, which is not what you want. You actually want it higher. So that's just my opinion on that. But I think most people can get the strong hand part okay. The support hand is where most people struggle with. This is what they could do better. Again, it's the same principle. I'm trying to get closer to this magic spot to where I can control the gun more. So not only higher, but a little bit further forward. A lot of people, I do this a little different than some guys than a lot of guys in the fact that a lot of people will preach to have both of the hands together all the way back here and to not have any kind of a gap, to have a neutral grip or whatnot. The problem I have with that is if I do that, my hand is further back and it's lower, so it's further away from this spot. A Glock's got a long trigger guard. I like to take advantage of that and just really roll all the way out there. A big part of this is being able to cant your wrist. Okay, this is a canted wrist, this is a straight wrist. If you can't get past a straight wrist, if your wrist is straight, you're just too terribly low on the gun. So I'm further out, I get bottom line, I get higher and further out on the gun. If you look at my gun and a high-speed camera, it moves less doing it the way that I'm talking about. And that's really what makes the difference.